Hello. 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 Hey, and welcome to the first edition of the Vet Next Door live stream. So I'm Dr. G. I'm going to be taking through today. We are a brand new organization just starting out with streaming, and our goal is kind of be essentially a friendly, or like think of a somebody who lives next door who you can chat with and ask questions about, or ask questions about your pets or the animals in general or animal kingdom, and hopefully we'll generate an audience here who likes to come back and talk about their pets, or we'll do showcases of people's animals. We'll do things like meme reviews. We'll watch animal videos, or I'll review them, and as a veterinarian, I'll sort of give my insight as to what seems real or what needs to be debunked. So we'll be doing a lot of that kind of stuff on this channel, hopefully both entertaining and educating at the same time. And so that's what we'll be doing here today. I'll definitely go through a bit of a legal disclaimer first, because there's things I can and cannot discuss on stream. Being a doctor, there are some limitations there. But other than that, we can talk about anything under the sun. And I've been, in terms of my background, I've been a veterinarian for almost 7 years now, and have worked in emergency and general practice mainly. So I'd be happy to share any insights I have there. I have a lot of opinions about all sorts of things, and I've had a large number of animals that I've owned over the period of my life, and tried all sorts of different products and toys and beds and those things. So I'll be doing reviews on those. I can do recommendations on any of those things. So I'd be happy to provide all that information, discuss it with you. But like I said at the start, a lot of this is going to be hopefully just kind of similar to a call-in show. I remember when I was pretty darn young growing up, there were these veterinarians would go on TV, and they'd have callers call in and just ask questions, and they'd sort of answer live on TV in the local news station. And I think that probably eventually became like they'd respond to like tweets and things like that. But I definitely remember that growing up. So hopefully I can do something similar to that and provide that to the YouTube audience and the Twitch audience when we start streaming to both of those services. But I'm happy to be here. I hope that some of this will be entertaining and exciting to those people who are major animal lovers. And so let's get started with the disclaimer here. So as a veterinarian, there's things I can and cannot talk about on stream. I'm kind of regulated by state and federal laws. I can't talk about specific things related to your animal if it's to diagnose or treat or offer medications and things like that. Those things are off limit. But if you're asking about like, hey, my puppy, I got a brand new puppy, what do I need to worry about, or what can they get, or what's their vaccine schedule? All of that we can talk about. That's something we can probably cover in sort of general. If you want to ask questions about a specific disease, if you want to ask questions like, hey, what's the best treat out there right now, or what's like a good treat for my dog that has these different things going on, then that's probably things I can talk about, because that's just me and you chit-chatting, just like just as if I was your neighbor and you happen to walk over and knock on my door and ask me a question. So I'd be happy to cover all those things. Anyways, so any advice given on this stream or associated material should not be considered specific medical recommendations for your pet. No physical exam, diagnosis, treatments, medications, or other specific medical recommendations can be provided. Any recommendations made on this stream or related to, or the related media should be considered an opinion, specifically my opinion, and discussed with your veterinarian before making any decisions related to your animal. Advice and opinion provided is not a substitute for proper medical attention for your pet. Only a proper annual physical exam and client-patient relationship should be used to determine any action regarding your pet's health. Any opinion used or misused by a viewer is a sole responsibility of the viewer, and the creators of the show cannot be held liable for actions taken without proper approval by your veterinarian. So that's covering some of the basics there. But again, there's a lot of questions I can answer. There's just a few probably that might be asked of me that I will have to turn down. But as soon as we get some people watching, I'm sure we'll get lots of questions being asked, and I'd be happy to cover that and answer that. But for the meantime, I'll probably just talk about my story and animals that I own and some other topics, and then I'll go through whatever I find on the internet that seems interesting today and kind of react to that. So like I said, I've been a veterinarian for about 7 years. I have also worked as a research in research at two major laboratories. I'm not going to talk about their names, but two major laboratories largely involving cancer research. So happy and very proud of being able to have done that. I'm internship trained, meaning I've done extra training beyond just achieving my doctorate degree. And, in my free time, I enjoy hiking. I spend a fair amount of time on the internet. I definitely watch a lot of streamers and things like that on YouTube and Twitch, and have kind of looked at that and said, hey, I think I can, do my own version of that. And hopefully we'll have an audience for that. But currently I have 6 animals. I've got 4 dogs, 2 cats in a very small home. And so it's they're all rescues. So, I always recommend getting rescues. I don't even think, even when we were kids, that we ever had animals that were not rescues. I'm trying to think if we ever paid for an animal. Yeah, gerbils and fish. So when I was a younger kid, I used to have like all sorts of pets, like all over the place. And so like gerbils, hamsters, fish, occasional lizard, bearded dragon. I think we had a couple smaller birds. It's kind of, we've had so many different things growing up, and I feel like that was a huge sort of inspiration to me to become a veterinarian, was that sort of history of growing up with all these different animals. But anyway, so 4 dogs currently, all rescues. 2 cats currently, both rescues. I highly recommend doing rescue animals. I'm a huge proponent of it. There's a lot of easy things you can do to go out into the world and find an animal that needs a home and that would love to be, a part of your family, just as all of mine have. And so I think, I'm not one that tends to promote. I don't promote buying animals from breeders and things like that, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm certain some people would, prefer that because they know the bloodline, or they have dogs that they want specific things for. Some dogs need jobs and, seeing eye dogs and things like that. And other dogs are hunting dogs. So yeah, those are all situations where getting it from a reputable breeder seems like it makes the most sense. You're not gonna find a world-class like hunting dog or a seeing eye dog as a rescue. But you get them where you can from. So, a lot of my background is with small animals. Veterinarians can do all sorts of different things. They can be, we can work with basically any species on the sun. We can work with bats. We can do aquatic animals. So it can be fish, or we can do, research. We can do, things in the Food and Drug Administration. So it might be making sure that our food is safe, making sure that the testing for different medications is safe. There's a bunch of different areas where a veterinarian can sort of be. I've only worked in 2 major fields, and that's sort of emergency small animal practice is one, and then the research field is another. But I've had a pretty good time in the profession, and I'm just trying to expand my horizons with this. So the 4 dogs I have, one's a Husky mix, but largely a Husky. And I'll probably show them all on stream as we kind of go forward with this. Another one's like a Carolina dog. She's a mix too, but if you look up Carolina dog, that's pretty much what she looks like. So you'll get that idea. And another one is a very unusual looking Maltese with like super long legs. His name's Orwell. The Carolina dog's name is Twig, and the Husky's name is Jose. I don't know why we named a wintertime dog Jose, but he definitely I guess he definitely seemed like a Jose at the time. And then Becca, which is our eldest, the senior dog. She's actually, she just turned 16, I think, just past month. And she's a classic black lab. So yeah. And then 2 cats. They're just your regular tabby cats. One's black. One actually looks like a tabby cat. And so that's all the animals in our household currently. I don't think we have room for any more. Even though growing up I had all sorts of different things, and certainly I can answer questions probably about all those different pocket pets to the best of my knowledge. But it's been a wild ride kind of getting to this point, and I'm happy to share any knowledge I have with all of you out there. I'm absolutely excited to kind of be on this what's hopefully going to be a roller coaster of good times with YouTube and talking to you people and answering your questions as best I can. So hopefully that covers most of the background information. We're probably going to just hang out for the rest of this stream, and I'll come up with some things to kind of look up online. I kind of planned on using this. Again, it's going to be like a call-in show. Any questions you might want to ask, hit me with them. I'll answer them. Any donations and things like that, certainly go ahead and do that. Eventually, if the stream gets big enough, if we actually become a thing, then I'll probably create a nonprofit foundation where donations kind of go to that, and we can fund rescue of animals. It's kind of hard as a veterinarian to rescue everything that comes your way, but if we do get popular enough that that's a thing and we actually get some version of funding or sponsorship, then I'd be happy to try and create that as a goal for us as a community, to try and create some sort of foundation where we select candidates for rescue, find them homes, or fund life-saving procedures, surgical procedures for those people that need them. So however that would work out in the future, that'd be a main goal of mine if we ever got to that point. But let's try and switch over to reviewing some content. And let's see what we got. Actually, I'm probably going to let my cat in because she has been meowing at the door, and you've probably heard it. Jezebel, come on. Come on. Come on. All right. Come on. Okay. This is Jezebel. She likes being held like a baby. I don't know why, but here she is. She's black. She's a little bit hard to see on the screen, but she needs a nail trim, which I'll probably go through. I'm going to make videos for all of those things. I'm going to be doing videos for basic at-home care, for nail trims, for measuring food, for beds, toys, just general enrichment things. So things like cat trees and watering fountains and how to do litter pans, exercise routines. All of that is going to be covered at some point, either on this stream or through a video. So I've been prepping to do all of those things here. And gosh, she's really needy right now. And then hopefully at some point I'm also going to institute some sort of donation thing where you can donate. I'm going to have these animals like showcased on the stream, and hopefully you can donate and feed them a treat or give them catnip or something like that. And I'll have a second cam where you can kind of watch them while I'm talking, because they might be more interesting than I am at some point. Yes, very good. She was just going to sit outside this door and meow, I think, the entire time. I'm planning on doing it 2 hours here initially, so, that'll be a long time to sit out there. This is kind of like the joint office room plus cat room. So there's you can't see it on camera, but there's a cat tree over there. as a cat watering fountain, which I think you can actually see the top of. Yep, it's right there. You can see the top of it right there, and some other cat stuff in here. So, but she's a bit too needy. Yeah, I've been, I think the same as everybody else, I'm going through COVID routines and things like that, and trying to adjust to the new lifestyle under COVID, because I think it's going to be going for even longer. I mean, we're now into just starting the second year of, because I think it started, lockdowns, I think started about this time last year. And I fully imagine, just based on vaccine schedules, it's going to be until the end of this year before we start seeing some glimmer of normality. I mean, at least in my state, they haven't even gotten to the point in which they're vaccinating, average people. We're still just vaccinating people above 65, and that's it. And that and medical field workers. So yeah, we've got a long ways to go, long ways to go. But hopefully this stream can provide, some sort of normalcy to you too. While we're going through COVID as it continues and things like that, we can, you can ask questions, things that you forgot to ask your veterinarian, things that you feel too embarrassed to ask and you want to ask anonymously online. I'll answer them for you. We just can't, I can't do anything too specific. I can't diagnose your pet. I can't treat your pet. I can't offer medications. Those things are not possible, but everything else under the sun about, basic questions about, sorry, I got some cat hair up my nose. Basic other questions I'd be happy to answer. So, all right. I really want to get, I don't know if these, I need to, I think, get a new chair that has like a high back and like a built-in like cat platform so that they can sit behind me. Because I got this chair. This chair was a recommendation. My brother actually, because we're all pretty tall. I'm one of three. All three brothers, all very tall. We're, I think 6'4", 6'5", and 6'6". I think that's probably about right. Yeah, so we're all really tall. So I was asking one of them what's like a good desk chair for like a high back for tall people, and they recommended this one. But it certainly doesn't give any room for like a cat to kind of sit behind you, which is where they want to be, like, or always want to be on your shoulder, or always want to be something like that. Anyways. There are lots and lots of things we can kind of talk about and go through. I'm going to pull up some clips of things I've seen that are animal related. We'll kind of go through them. I'll talk. For some of these, I've seen them already. For other ones, I like just caught a glimpse of it and said, okay, like that'll be perfect, and kind of saved it. So some of these will be new to me. Let's see what we got. What? I mean, the lick was fake. The not the lick. The sound effect of him licking was fake. I don't know why that's funny, but that's funny. The sound effect does make it too. I feel like the sound effect makes it even better. I don't know. Cats are so weird about cleaning. And like when they choose to clean, like you'll never see them clean, and then all of a sudden, like you'll have a guest over, and they like three cats will show up, and they'll be like cleaning themselves right in front of you. And you're like, what are you doing? What is this? I don't know why that cat is both shows signs of being a little bit scared, a little bit terrified, and also feels comfortable enough to clean. Because usually you have one or the other. Like a cat either is like wide-eyed and ears up, and they're focusing on something, because that's typical cat behavior for them, their attention being drawn, or they're surprised, or they're startled in some way. But cleaning usually only happens when when they're comfortable, when they feel at rest and they're happy. So I don't know. He both seems terrified, but also just really had to get that one last clean in. Like just needed that one spot to be taken care of. And my cat is right here playing with a loose cap, which we're gonna let happen. Although I feel like you're gonna, when you're on this table, you're gonna like come through the mic every time you bump something.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Get out and in for Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Okay, this one I...
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Get out and in for Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
They are impressively doing that to the beat. That's pretty good. They found the perfect song for that.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Get out and in for Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
I kind of wonder if the dogs pop the soccer ball, or if it just got old and they're just like, here, have a toy, dogs. I don't know if they would like.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Get out and in for
Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
They look nearly identical. I can't even imagine trying to remember which is which.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Get out and in for Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
It's amazing how much pressure both their jaws can do, but also their necks. Like, I mean, I don't think my neck's even a good comparison. I have a relatively skinny neck, but look at their necks are thick AF, and they have so much musculature there, and it's exactly for this, not to tear up soccer balls, but to like grab prey and yank them. You know, that's what it's for. Also for like things like territory and fighting and stuff like that. The extra. So there's a couple different things kind of going on there when I think, and I'm like, hey, their neck's huge. There's a couple of reasons why that's the case. So one's going to be, we got, yeah, no, it's probably not a good comparison. Thanks. Yeah, excellent. One's going to be because they have lots of muscles there, so they can do this kind of force pulls, grab prey, do that kind of thing. But also they have bigger necks and a little bit and looser skin there too, is because it's pretty typical for them to get in fights with other animals. More commonly, it's going to be other dogs over territory. I love the support. Over territory. Or mates or something along those lines, food, whatever it might be. So another dog could latch onto their neck, and they have all that loose skin so that the other dog or the other animal that they're fighting with could bite down. And as they're grabbing and the dog's trying to pull away, they might only get loose skin. So having like that extra fat there, having the extra muscle there, having the extra band of loose skin is actually really good for them, like in a protective sense. So like evolutionary wise, like there's a huge benefit to having that extra skin there, the extra mass there, on top of just the extra forces they need to like grab prey and pull them. So that's part of it. But it's also a safety measure. So there's a bunch of different reasons why these animals have evolved that. And the assumption would be that there were a bunch of other animals, other dogs, or pre-dogs, I guess, that didn't have as loose skin and didn't have as muscular necks, and they didn't survive because just statistically over a period of time, those relatives or ancestors, whatever, they sustained enough injuries to the neck that they died off, and the ones that lived are now the dogs we have today. Although, with domestication and breeding and things like that, it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit different there. It's not, some of the evolutionary forces are no longer natural selection. They're us picking which dogs we want to continue. So that can also be a factor too. I might be reading too much into it. But it's crazy what other things you can think about in the animal kingdom that have evolved protective measures around the neck. So not just dogs with like loose skin and some extra fat there, which we do see actually a fair amount of dogs come in with neck injuries, and we have to explore, anesthetize them and explore those wounds and clean them out and provide them with antibiotics. But we'll see these really horrific injuries externally sometimes, and when we go to look inside to see, how deep does this go? Did they hit anything vital? Because there's a lot of vital structures in here. Why you need that extra protection? You have your jugular vein, you have your carotid, you have your esophagus and trachea. So there's a lot of vital things in there that you need to live. So that extra protection is necessary. But other animals have evolved similar things. So if you think about llamas, I think it's llamas, and it might be like camelids as a larger sense too. But definitely at least llamas, they have evolved these little bony prominences that come out, and they actually cover part of their jugular veins, which are the more surface level veins in the neck, and they're actually pretty big. They actually provide a little bit of protection because they cover them, because the llamas, when they're fighting each other over territory or food or mates or things like that, they have these really nasty teeth, these really sharp teeth, and they'll try and gore each other. So it's think about a pig or like a boar or something like that attacking another animal. They'll try and attack each other's necks and try and cause some real damage. So they actually evolve these tiny little bony prominences that kind of come off and cover those, which provide them some protection. So if that tooth comes in, it might divert off of that little piece of bone and not cause as much damage. So there's a lot of examples of that in the animal kingdom where something has evolved, or something's there that's just for protection. Like it serves no other purpose in terms of like structure or function. It doesn't achieve any goals other than hopefully if I get attacked here, I'm going to take less. It's going to be a less injurious. It's going to be it's not going to claim my life, and so then I'll be able to go on and have more progeny, and my genetic line will be carried on. So that's all. Yeah, it is important to protect the neck. I don't know if I've been clear on that, but the neck is a pretty important thing. I mean, you could have no neck. You'd probably be fine. In fact, there's that one dude that I hate to rag on this guy, but there's that one guy that has like no neck. Hold on. He was on yeah, it's this dude. He was on 90 Day Fiance. Oh, I hate to make fun of this guy. But he was all over the TV. Everybody's going to know who I'm talking about. Let me find a link that is not terrible. Okay, all the links are terrible, but it's this dude. Big Ed. See, this is protective. He's got no neck, so you can't attack the neck at all. Okay, good. It's coming through. It makes sense now. So all you have to do is evolve Big Ed's neck, and no one can attack it because there's no neck to attack. Evolutionary advantage, you're all set. Do what? Show the image or evolve no neck? I could probably button this up. It'd be at least somewhat protective. I don't think it's gonna be a good look for me though. The lady's like a little bit of collar open, so I'm gonna leave that how it is. To find that guy, I had to type in no neck guy, and the first thing that comes up is Big Ed. Oh my gosh. I'm sure he's done plenty of things in his life that he could be known for something else, but it's just that it's that classic phrase of what is it like? It's that classic joke about like, once you do that one thing, you're always known for that one thing. You can do 1,000 other things. He's just the big neck guy now. Sorry, Big Ed. I know your life is more than just your neck, but To everyone on the internet, apparently big neck guy is what you are. So I apologize for that. Anyways, let's move on to another clip, see if there's anything else to talk about. Oh, is there music too? Or audio? No, there's no audio. It's just off. I mean, that's cute. I don't like this situation the cow's in. I think like, who can't relate to that? Who looks at this cow and goes, cows, who cares about cows at this point? Like, he's catching the first snow, I'm assuming, I'm just making things up, but he's catching the first snow of the year with his tongue. Like, how is that not relatable? Like, I can see having this cow as a pet. The more and more I watch of videos of cows, the more and more I think, like, yeah, I could have a cow. Like, I've treated cows before. I've in school and things like that, we'd have to work in dairy barns and things like that, and treat cows and cattle, and we've done a lot of things like that. We had to do a stint on a beef farm as well. So you have to learn all sorts of crazy stuff that you might not use later on in vet school. But these little enclosures are kind of depressing to me. Look how big that cow is. And I've seen these enclosures before, so I know you could be like, well, you don't know how long they are. I've seen them before. They're small. It's literally just a plastic roof for them to kind of hide in, and it offers just protection from the weather. I don't think that they're insulated in any way. I really suspect that they're probably exposed to weather. So if it's cold or if it's extremely hot, I've seen videos of animals, cows and going into heat stroke in those things because the sun was beating down so hot and it's a super hot day. It's not a great life. There are some cows, I think, off in the distance that maybe are out in an enclosure. So maybe they're housed here, but they get out in the enclosure. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they get some free time out there to do stuff and catch snowflakes and make cow snow angels. Otherwise, I'm super depressed just thinking about it. But yeah, that's cute. I don't know what else to say. That's pretty awesome. Okay, let's check this one out. This poor pug. Oh, man. The music's perfect. Obviously, they did it to the music. This guy, he's just minding his own business. This woman's terrorizing this poor pug. But they do have some of the best faces. Like, their reaction to things is hysterical. Okay, this video almost looks a little bit inappropriate. Yeah, okay. So that is a really textured tongue. I think even if you leave your tongue out for a period of time and let it get dry like that, which I think you could do just by and just sticking out for a bit, I think the texture of your tongue would be much more prominent too. Dogs really do have a pretty textured tongue, not as much as cats. Cats actually have little protuberances that sort of help grab things and help them groom and apprehend food and things like that. But yeah, I mean, look at the length of this tongue. That much of it can be out of the dog's mouth, and he doesn't care. Yeah, a velvet blanket. Yeah. Not one I would want to sleep on, but I get where you're coming from. Yeah, just an old boxer tongue. I don't know. A lot of dogs will have their tongues hang out like that because they have had dentals where teeth have been removed. So that's not uncommon. They lose like the structural support that keeps the tongue in, so it just flops out to one side. And other dogs are just kind of derpy, and you just got a derp tongue, and that's what you got. So I don't know which one this guy is under because you can't see his teeth, but I'm assuming it's a little bit of both. Just looking at him. Sometimes you can just look at a dog and be like, "Yep, I think he's a bit derpy." But yeah, I mean, like dogs and cats, they use their tongue for everything. You know, cleaning, apprehending things, drinking water. Which actually, if you've never seen a dog drink water, it might blow your mind in like slow-mo. Hold on. Slow-mo drinking water. Dog. Slow-mo dog drinking water. There we go. I'm going to just watch it real quick to make sure it's what I want. I have to sit through 3 ads first, but we'll get there. Okay, yeah. So look at the how far the tongue goes and the form the tongue takes. Because when you see the tongue come out, you would think they'd scoop upwards, like they grab the like that. It's kind of gross that I'm doing it, but I don't know why he's just biting the water. I don't typically see dogs do that, but there he goes. Okay, it scoops under. It scoops backwards and acts as a spoon, and that the tongue is, they're not even consciously molding their tongue. Like they don't. They don't have to think, oh, like I'm going to curl the edges of the tongue in and make it form a spoon like that's doing there. It just happens automatically. But it's pretty crazy that I would have thought it was the other way. I would have thought they scooped up and in rather than under and in, because it just seems kind of messier that way. But that's what they do. Imagine drinking water like that. Imagine every time you had to drink water, you had to dunk your whole frickin' face into it. And it's just water all over your face. Yeah, boxers have long tongues. I mean, dolichocephalic breeds like this guy have long tongues too. Dogs have long tongues. All right. Yeah, that's just impressive. What else do we got? All right. This one I have seen before.
That's right. I sneezed. Oh, I'm not allowed to.
Okay, this one's great because it's kind of meta. It's got both this original video, which I don't know what scares the cat, but it's got the oh thanks Ron meme from I don't know how many years ago, like 5-7 years ago.
Nice, Ron. I sneezed. Oh, I'm not allowed to.
That poor cat. I don't know what they did because the camera shakes at the perfect time too. So I don't know if they cut the audio out from this temporarily, but definitely that's not the original "Oh thanks, Ron." This should be it.
Nice, Ron. I sneezed. Oh, I'm not
Oh,
allowed
nice,
to.
Ron.
Nice, Ron. I sneezed. Oh, I'm not allowed to sneeze.
Oh my god. I can't even imagine that. Oh my gosh. That makes my skin crawl. Obviously, they have an awesome backyard and they've got deer and they're coming up and eating out of the bird feeder. That's fine. But I can hear them starting into an argument and it just feels awful. Man can't even sneeze without it being an argument. Oh man. But that's where the original audio was taken from. I don't know how they, what scared that cat though. But I'm pretty sure he didn't want to be in the pool.
Tell me what you feel.
Whoa. Dude didn't want his toes tickled. Yeah. No, if I'm ticklish too, I'm going to kick as well. I mean, I agree with the dog on this one. I don't think he did anything wrong. That's one hell of a frickin' smack, though.
Tell me what you feel.
The dog's so nonchalant about it too. This rabbit kicks him in the neck.
Tell me what you feel.
That's brutal. Yeah, I mean, dogs will do so much stupid stuff. They're just like 3-year-olds. Like you have to do everything you can to keep them alive. They're constantly looking for ways to kill themselves, accidentally, of course, but they're trying to find things to do that. I've definitely had to take acorns out of a dog surgically before. Like they just happened to eat an acorn that happened to be large enough that got stuck in a portion of their small intestine, and it caused a blockage. And yeah, so I've definitely had to cut those out before. Yeah, the acorns cannot be digested at all. I mean, I guess if you would cook them or something like that, they'd be like any other nut. But I think raw acorns are not going to be that way. So. Look, the dog's still trying to get them. As he drops him out, he's like, he has to hold the dog up. Because he's like, I'm still going to get those acorns. If you let me. Yeah, at some point I'll go over other things too, like how to remove something from your dog's mouth. Like how to get something out that you don't want them to hold on to, how to sweep the back of the throat, how to put your fingers so you're less likely to get bit, but you still have like mechanical force that allows you to open them. Because there is a little bit of space in there where you should be able to put your fingers if you're holding above and below. You should be able to get their mouth open. Like that's something that any pet owner should know how to do. So if you don't know how to do that, well, you know, I'm gonna do a video on how to make that happen. So if they have like a sock in their mouth, if they have something that's toxic, like they stole a piece of chocolate, a bone, you know, something you don't want them to actually get a hold of, I'll teach you how to do that. I'll demonstrate that in a video at some point. But yeah, that dog is like fully intent on getting those acorns back. And you can tell the guy's just like, he's done with it. It's probably like the third time today. His technique's pretty good where he put his fingers. He knows what's going on. I mean, I might as well just describe it. But what he's doing is actually not bad technique. It's a little bit hard to see because he's still using the lip skin over the mouth, so I can't see exactly where his fingers are. But generally, you would grab the canine teeth, the biggest teeth in the dog's front of their mouth. That you'd grab right behind both the upper canines and the lower canines. There's a little bit of space there where there's kind of like no tooth, so you can grab that space and kind of lift open. And if your fingers kind of slip or what have you, and the jaw comes down, you're less likely to get kind of your lower fingers or your up, whichever kind of happens. It's probably going to be the upper jaw coming down and the lower jaw. Your lower fingers probably less likely to get like horribly bit. They'll probably just get, nipped slightly or something like that, or pushed or what have you, pinched maybe. But that would be the technique. It's also where you get the most mechanical force, because if you think of it like a lever, which their mouth functions as that, the further you're out from the angle of the joint, the more of force you can apply. So you want to kind of be at the furthest point away, and you can apply more mechanical force. Whereas if you're closer in, if you hold further back on it, you can't really apply that much force. And their jaws and their muscles that attach their jaws, which are one of the main ones is on top of that. They're so strong, and they're so large that if you're not, if you're having trouble doing that, you need to have your fingers in the right place and get as much mechanical force as possible, because they're really, really strong. But you can also use, and he's actually doing it, if you're kind of a little bit afraid of having your fingers pinched, you can actually curl their lip skin over their teeth just slightly as you're sort of grabbing them, and it won't hurt them, because where your fingers are, the skin's just up against the gums. There should be a small space where there's like no tooth between the canine and the next sort of premolar. So you should be able to get the skin down there, and that'll cover your fingers a little bit. And actually they'll know, like they'll be a bit more sensitive to it, because they're like, if I bite down, I'm going to bite my own lip. And if they start to, then they'll realize their lip is getting pinched between their teeth, and they'll be less likely to bite hard. So if you do need to do that, 2 fingers above and below, just behind the canines. If you're a little bit more concerned, curl the lip skin in. And that's a pretty reasonable way to get the dog's mouth open. So at some point I'll have like a model or like some diagram, and I'll go over that more thoroughly. But that's definitely he did a reasonable technique for getting something out of the dog's mouth, and you don't want him to swallow all those acorns. Yeah, probably a couple of them will pass, maybe even most of them will pass, but why risk it? He's not getting anything from the acorns. And then actually kind of talking about that a little bit, it's, there's a behavior thing there too. So it's not just him getting the acorns and getting the acorns out and having a dog that's kind of polite enough to let you remove things from his mouth. But, he's potentially going after these acorns because he's bored, or he's hungry, or something along those lines. And there's got to be a better solution than just trying to get the acorns out of his mouth every time. And if there's not, if there's an issue where you've tried all the potential tricks and training routines and other things you can do to try and prevent him from potentially choking on an acorn, maybe you need to remove the oak tree. Maybe it needs to go. I don't know. Kind of depends on whether, I guess it depends on whether the surgery to remove the acorns from the dog is more or less expensive than having the tree taken down. But overall, good technique on that guy. All right, this is a Husky clip. We have a Husky, and he is mega derp. The best part is the end where you can hear him winding up. The Huskies, I'm sure anybody who has a Husky who might watch this knows exactly what I'm talking about. They wind up like a wind-up toy, and then they just make the most horrific screeching noises afterwards, going into like a howl or something. He had something to say. All right, speaking of kind of derpy breeds. A dog needs an exorcist. If it wasn't for the noise, it wouldn't be that crazy. So like let's go a couple frames back. So his mouth isn't doing anything crazy. You look at his eyes and you're like, that's weird. Like, why are his eyes like half white or whatever? Are they? Because it looks like his pupils are going out to the side. Like he's going, whatever the opposite of cross-eyed is. I can't, I can't remember the non-scientific term for it. And the scientific term is going to fall on deaf ears. But it looks like his eyes are going out this way when he's yawning. Which is not the case. So a lot of people already know this, but they have third eyelids on the inside of their eyes. And as he's yawning, the third eyelids are coming up and out. So the pupils, I don't think the pupils move at all. I think his pupils are fixed, but because the third eyelid's coming up and out, and it's got kind of like a fleshy color, it's like whitey pinkish kind of color. And it serves to, its purpose is for protection of the eyes. But while he's yawning, it's just kind of coming out and it makes it look like the pupils are kind of moving out. So it's pretty funny looking. I don't know what that noise is though. I've never heard a dog yawn in such a ridiculous way. I don't know what that is. I don't think that there's anything a veterinarian can do to fix that. I think you're just stuck with that dog. So yawns are actually one of those things that I actually wonder if the scientific community has a consensus on this, but it seems to be one of those things that crosses species lines where, if you yawn and then another person yawns, you get that sensation too. You see two people yawn and then you start feeling like you need to yawn or you end up yawning. Watching this dog yawn makes me want to yawn. It's not the exact. It's not a one-to-one thing. Not all species, you're going to have some behavior that crosses species lines. So I don't know if everyone agrees that yawning is kind of like a universal thing, or the reflex to yawn when someone else's yawns. What's that called? Yawning when someone else yawns. There's a name for everything. Contagious yawn. Okay, social organisms imitate the actions of others by yawning, but does it have a name? Which I can guarantee you some scientist has come along and given it a name. Are psychopaths immune to contagious yawning? Okay, now we've got a rabbit hole to go down. Contagious yawning has been linked to empathy. Psychopaths lack empathy for others. Yeah, sure. Lower chance of catching yawns because they're less empathetic. Yeah, that seems kind of wishy-washy. Can a psychopath cry? Wow, this has gone down a weird tunnel. I mean, I didn't even click on like a second link to get to the point at which it's asking if a psychopath can cry. I would assume anybody can cry. I would assume that's that even people who have disorders that prevent them from crying, seeing other people's pain, that they can still cry due to other things. I don't know. And this is really suspect too. Man, there's so many weird things on the internet. When people cry genuine tears, they cry with both eyes. And so they will tend to wipe both eyes at once. What? I've definitely cried before. And I can recall that I don't always wipe both eyes at once. Like, how cartoonish is that to be like sitting there like, boo-hoo. No, it's like you'd be like this, and then you'd be like this. It's not, I'm not saying like I'm crying out of just one eye and the other eye is normal. I'm saying like the tears build up at different rates. They're not, it's not symmetrical all the time. That's weird, man. So that's another thing I'm going to spend time on in this adventure on the internet, is trying to debunk some of the weird things people are posting online about veterinary stuff. Heck, even if we have some time, I'll probably end up doing it here. Okay, let's check and see if yawning is contagious between species. Yawning. Is yawning contagious between species? There we go. It's funny when you have like a very specific question and there's already like a Google autofill for that. Yes, and it even has a term. Okay, so contagious yawning between different members of a species, called interspecific contagious yawning, has been observed between humans and chimpanzees as well as humans and dogs. Okay, so there we go. There's at least some confirmation there. I imagine, I see my cats yawn a lot. I can't remember yawning because they yawned. Might mean I'm a psychopath. I didn't yawn because my cats yawned. And I also only cry out of one eye, so clearly a psychopath. Internet told me. Man, it's all, you can trust what's on the internet. I mean, the thing is that it's true. There's lots of good information on the internet. There's plenty of reputable websites. There's plenty of things that are absolutely true and have been put on the internet. But you really do have to keep your guard up at all times. Okay, spontaneous yawning is common across all vertebrate classes. That's a lot. So that's anybody who has a spine. I'm sure there's a political joke there. I'm not going to make it, but you know. Contagious yawning only in a few species of social animals. Yeah, dogs are pretty social. They usually run in packs. Cats are still social, but they're more inclined to be singular than I think dogs are. But yeah, they still have significant social behaviors and complex social hierarchies and all sorts of stuff. Chimpanzees and dogs. Okay, talking about elephants. I would actually be surprised that we don't yawn when elephants yawn. I feel like their yawns would be pretty recognizable to us. Okay, so it's in reverse. So what they're saying here is that the elephants responded to the contagious yawn of the people, but not vice versa. So they don't state specifically that humans didn't yawn in response, but they only state that the elephants yawned when people yawned. So it's contagious in one direction, it looks like. Or at least what they've found in this one study. Man, that would be a brutal study. That would be a brutal study to be a part of, where all you're doing, you're filming at nighttime all the time. I guess in the morning too. And then all you're doing is watching yawning. Just people yawning for like hours of footage. It's like, oh, this person yawned. Now let's look around, see if anybody else, any other animals yawned in the near vicinity. I imagine you would feel tired all the time. Man, what you do for science. All right, so that's our diversion into contagious yawning. Okay, no sound. All right, so we've got a question in chat that I'm pretty sure is sarcastic. Can an armadillo yawn? Can a fruit bat yawn? Can a cow yawn? Can a parrot yawn? They're all vertebrates, so yes. Just according to the last article that we read, the answer is yes. All four of those. I imagine the armadillo has like the cutest yawn ever. Fruit bat too. Okay, this guy's like, this really gets me wondering. Because he's clearly trying out faces. Like there are certainly dogs and monkeys and a bunch of other species, wild cats, like big cats. You know, some of the smarter species out there, when they're first introduced to a mirror, they don't know what it is. But that's the first time they're introduced to the mirror. Once they kind of figure out what's going on, they understand what's happening. So man, there's a lot of different ways you can kind of look at this. Is he trying out different, is he recognizing he's seeing himself and trying out different faces, which might be us anthropomorphizing him? Or is he just seeing another dog and anthropomorphize, just in case it's not a word you use. So it's giving an animal human characteristics. So, you know, if I'm saying anthropomorphize, I mean I'm giving this dog more characteristics than he actually deserves. Like he's not actually processing the world the same way we do. So is he trying out faces, or is he seeing another dog and he is responding with aggression and then slowly backing down? As I say, like that little bark there makes me think he's trying out. It makes me think he's seeing a dog that he's being aggressive towards, because the moment he avoids eye contact, so all this time he's making eye contact, which for a dog that's aggressive, like dogs don't want to make eye contact for the most part, and most animals don't. Even humans don't like making eye contact. Eye contact kind of like makes you feel unsettled a little bit. So he's making eye contact the entire time that he's making aggressive faces. The moment he decides to look away, because he's actually did a little bark at himself, the moment he looks away is when his demeanor changes to kind of being like, he looks away and his demeanor's a bit normal. Then he comes back, and then in the last couple seconds he looks away, and then he's kind of happy. Like his demeanor changes. So I don't know if he is seeing another dog and acting aggressively towards it, and he and that dog are sort of, navigating that space of like, are we enemies? Are we going to fight? Is this a territory thing? And then finally coming away with like, okay, we looked away. We're not aggressive towards each other anymore. And that's it. Or is this dog trying out faces? Like he's like, I wonder if I look badass doing this. Do I look badass? Yeah, I look badass. Because this part here where he's like adjusting his lips, where he's like, I wonder if I do this. Does I do that? Do I look pretty badass? Yeah. But because that's a sign of it. That's a sign of intelligence that, when people were, I think we're still doing that, but back when people were testing different species for the level of intelligence that they'd have, mirror tests were one of them. So I'm sure anybody who took a high school biology course has seen this, but they would stick colored feathers into like ravens. Like they would, I don't know if they'd sedate or if they would just stick the feather in, but they'd take a colored feather that was a different color than the raven, or was it macaw? I can't remember. Mirror test raven, and see if they could recognize the fact that there was a feather that was not their feather in the mirror, and then get it out. So there's a couple different sort of processing things that have to go on there in terms of recognizing yourself in the mirror, and then using the mirror to identify where the object is on yourself. So there's a bunch of different like cognitive things that have to happen. Okay, so these are magpies.
With unlimited DVR.
Yeah, we don't need the advertisement. Just go. Yeah, I don't think we need the music either. Okay, they're probably just explaining it. Okay, so they put yellow dot on this magpie, and then he's in a room with a mirror. Yeah, and he's trying to get it off. Like, it looks immediate. I'm sure it was a bit longer. So at the very least, magpies, and I assume a lot of other similarly intelligent birds, are able to pass this mirror test, where it's self-recognition and using the mirror to identify where the object is and remove it. So, and I know my own dogs, I think, pass the mirror test. I've never stuck something on them and see if they would get it off, because I think dogs are pretty complacent with humans. Like, you put something on a dog and I don't know why, but they wear it. Like I'm actually more surprised that dogs aren't like opposed to wearing collars or sweater vests or like all the other stuff that people put on dogs. But I feel like if I put something on one of my dogs, they probably just like leave it for a while. I mean, we put Halloween costumes on them. They're not constantly fighting to take those off. And I don't think it's because they don't like wearing them. I think they're just like, oh, this is my life now. This is what I'm doing. All right. Oh, there's another one. I think there's another video of like a crow that, yeah, the crow water displacement test. These are impressive. Like, this is the kind of thing where, like, I don't feel like the mirror test is like all that impressive, but water displacement is actually really impressive. So I don't know if this specific video will show it, but there's water in the tube on the left, there's sand on the tube on the right. I guess they wanted to make sure that they're not just randomly putting rocks into tubes. But the crow knows immediately he can't get the water. And obviously this is a test crow. He's probably been in this situation multiple times and failed. Like he wanted water and he couldn't get it. But eventually he figured it out and was like, okay, I kind of know what's going on here. So they've measured out the water to know that it's too shallow for him to get his beak in. The narrow of the tube is too small for his head to get in. And if he puts enough rocks in, the water level will rise. And then he'll be able to drink. And so, like, think about the level of intelligence that would take for him to do that. Oh, okay, there was a nut in there. He wasn't drinking water. But they've done it with water, just general water too. But he's like trying to get a treat, which I assume is maybe even faster. I mean, like, crows don't need to drink tons of water all the time. But anyways, the whole point of that is just to say that the animals are much smarter than we give them credit for. And we put them in a situation in which they can show off some of their intelligence. You know, I think they're a lot smarter than a lot of people are willing to give them credit for. And just think about the phrase bird brain. Like, I can guarantee you that this bird is smarter than some people. Here's another one I thought was pretty impressive. A bird coming, this is a crow, I assume, coming down, begging for water. Because he's aware that there's water in there. He's either drank out of bottles previously or seen people drink water, and he wants it. They're not getting Aquafina in the wild. You know, this is something that this bird had to figure out. He's thirsty. He wants a drink. Is he not going to give him a drink? I'm pretty sure this is the video where he actually gives him a drink. Hold on. Yeah, okay, there he goes. Capful. Good job, kid. This bird's like, come on, kid, get it together. This is a pretty trusting bird. Yeah, so you see how he's actually lifting his head up? There's so many things to talk about when you watch animal videos. The reason he has to throw his head back is they don't have a mechanism to swallow without gravity. They actually have to like use gravity to get food and water down in there, which is, I'm pretty sure, why they don't take birds to space at all, because they have significant difficulty with trying to do that. There's no gravity to like force the water back to the back of their throat to get it down further. Whereas we have like all this musculature and muscular esophagus, and so we have the ability to, on our own, put water back there. We can drink water upside down. I'm pretty sure a bird couldn't. I don't know what's going on here. I'm pretty sure a bird couldn't. You know what? We're here. Let's just ask the question. Can a bird drink water without gravity? Okay, so not all birds. Some birds are just built different. Okay. This is just a random, like, I was just clicking on a random bird watcher website. I can't 100% say that that's the foremost expert opinion on that. Birdwatchers Digest. See, okay. Do birds need gravity to swallow? This is just some random stuff on a question website. Birds can't be brought into outer space. Motivational from this motivational sphere because they need gravity swallow. NASA officials. It's a gravity problem, but suddenly the beaks of birds is pointed out every time it's not lifting the beak. The team identifies the birds need gravity to lift their beak. Wait, what? The team identifies the birds need gravity to lift their beaks. I don't think the bird needs gravity to lift its beak. Yeah, none of these are super reputable websites. I'm just going to go with that's correct. That birds are not taken into space for that specific reason. But I have no way to be 100% sure. Gonna shake my legs real quick. All right. Actually, this is a good link for talking about animal intelligence. This one's a pretty good one. Because yeah, I mean the question you always have to ask yourself when watching any video is like, how could this be staged? Like, is there a possibility that this is not real? Because you're watching like a 12-second video. And it's always like, you know how good a phone camera is? And all these videos are grainy and garbo. Like, there's so many times these videos could be faked or computer graphics or things like that. But this one I actually think is real. Because I've seen this behavior with my own dogs. Okay, so this scene set up here is this dog got into the wastebasket and took all this trash out. And he hears the food in the food bowl rattling. And then he knows he's caught. I would say that I think this behavior is real. I don't think the setup's real. I'm highly suspicious that this wastebasket doesn't sit out in the middle of this big empty floor. I feel like they're not in like a corner where a wastebasket would normally live. But here's the thing that you kind of have to understand. I think a lot of people don't give dogs credit for understanding consequences, because maybe we're anthropomorphizing them too. Maybe dogs don't understand. It's entirely possible, but I think there's at least some evidence that dogs can understand that their actions, what happens after their actions, so they can plan ahead. So planning ahead is again one of those things where occasionally you hear like armchair experts talk about how, well, humans are unique in the fact that they can plan ahead and they can see things, they have foresight. I would think dogs can a little bit too, probably just not like, years in advance. I think humans have that capability in at least some larger sense, although looking at the world today, I would say that people are I don't think people are planning that far ahead. I think people just want money now, and that's it. But I actually think there's some examples I can think of where dogs have some understanding that if they do this, then this will happen. They understand that if they do an action, they'll get X result. And that doesn't always have to be food related. And that takes planning. They have to have like some sort of idea as to how to do something. I mean, I've occasionally seen dogs, at least videos of dogs, where like they couldn't get to something high up. They then moved something that allowed them to get to the high up spot. That's foresight. That's planning. You know, it's not planning months in ahead, but you know, dogs aren't filling out TPS reports and going to work every day. So I don't know what, you know, people are looking for to determine whether dogs can plan ahead or not. That seems like planning ahead to me. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. But this is a little suspect. I just feel like it's too perfect. Like the giant clean floor, the nothing but white material on the ground, and then his like spot on perfect reaction. He like walks all the way over to it. It could totally be real. It could totally be real. Most of the one reason that I also think it potentially could be fake is that most of the time the dogs that I've seen, my dogs or seen videos of other dogs do something similar, is that they will avoid the area that they caused the issue in at all costs. Like you would call him and you had the food bowl, but he would be sitting on the other side of the room. He wouldn't come over to where he had done the deed. He would always be sitting on the other side of the room, like nervously wagging their tail, like really pensive because they're waiting to be admonished for what they had done. So the fact that he walks all the way up before he realizes that the trap has been sprung seems kind of silly. But also maybe it's been 2 hours and he just was like, oh shoot, I forgot I did that. I don't know. Maybe this one corgi has a short memory. It's pretty comical that he goes into his crate and closes the door. I feel like that behavior is trained. But that's, I mean, how comedic is it that he closes his own door? All right, let's see if Reddit has any good comments. No, that's not comments. Any good comments? Cheddar. I think that's how could you, Cheddar? I think that's Cheddar from, I keep wanting to say Reno 911. No, it's not. It's Brooklyn, the 99. Pick up your new boat. Okay. Come on down to the police station and pick up your new boat. Yeah, it's pretty similar. Oh, here's actually a great video of, I think, a dog exhibiting foresight and making a plan and then enacting that plan in order to achieve a goal. Because again, you know, somehow we got into the theme of like talking about like intelligence in animals. I think this is a great example. If I can find the video. I don't think it's going to be easy as Mr. No Neck Guy, but we're going to try. Okay. Mr. No Neck Guy. All right, so... Okay, so I'm looking for a video of a bulldog skateboarding. Which, why is it always a bulldog or a Frenchie that skateboards? Like no other dogs have figured out how to skateboard? Like look, there's at least 3 different bulldogs or Frenchies, 4. That have learned how to legit skateboard, like better than I could ever skateboard. No other breed has figured out how to skateboard. Surfing dogs, I don't know, whatever. I feel like the surfboard does its own thing at that point. I'm not impressed by surfboarding dogs. I feel like the surfboarding dogs are just holding on for dear life. Okay, this is the video, I think. I hope this is the one I was thinking. Because yeah, he gets a speed boost from his buddy, but he... The music's But he knows a skateboard. He runs alongside, he gets back on it, he can swerve, he's putting his weight in the right place, he's avoiding people, he seems to know which direction they're going. Okay, so yes, this is the exact video. Okay, so look how cool this is. Look how much foresight this takes. This dog sees ahead of time that there's a curb coming up. This, I'm assuming French Bulldog. Yeah, French Bulldog. Sees that there's a curb coming up. And he might have been on this road 100 times, I don't know. But he knows the curb's coming up. So he gets off the skateboard and lets it go on its own. He knows that if he's on the skateboard and he goes down that curb, he's gonna bite it. He's gonna go face plant. So he's seen an issue. He's made a plan because he knows something bad's gonna happen, and he's enacted that plan and it worked. Like, that's foresight. I don't know. I mean, like, that's intelligence. I don't know what else to say. And then he's back on it, and he navigates around that. That's impressive, too. Knowing, and now he's like, okay, I got to get away from this scooter. I mean, if that was me and I had to jump back on the skateboard, I would have ran right into that scooter. The only thing I'm seeing that I wish that they would... I don't even know if they could. Could they run on 3 legs and keep 1 leg on the skateboard, or is that just physically impossible for them? Because I feel like he has to do 2 actions. He has to run alongside of it and then jump back on, and then when he jumps back on, the skateboard gets the momentum. But he could keep the momentum if he just put the paw on. But yeah, people are like, yeah, you know, humans are the only people that have... Sorry, humans are the only people. Humans are the only species that can think ahead. Like, show them this video and ask them, is this dog thinking ahead? I'd say he is. He sees the curb, he makes a plan, he enacts a plan, it works. He's back on the skateboard. I think that's cool. You know, I should make a school for skateboarding bulldogs. I think there'd be a market there. Just teaching other people's bulldogs how to skateboard. From what I heard, it's actually... Some dogs have learned from the other skateboarding dog. So they'll see, like, dogs will see the other skateboarding dog, and then their owners will, like, help them a little bit, but they, like, learn from the other dog by example. Do we have another skateboarding? Clip? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Always a bulldog in the front. Oh man. I don't know why the video the audio cuts out. Maybe the owners are cursing. You can see him holding on for dear life. Like he's just standing on it and he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Fuck. Yep, just into the drink. Just fully submerged. Yeah, bulldogs don't do super well in water. They already have like not great breathing, and then going underwater and potentially breathing in some water is like not the best thing for a bulldog. But yeah, it's always a bulldog. It's always a Frenchie. I mean, legit, at this point, if you own a Frenchie and a bulldog and they're not skateboarding already, like you're just a bad dog owner. Like you're just not, you know, you're not allowing your dog to live up to its full potential. Look at how many other Frenchies and bulldogs can skateboard. A lot. All right. Oh, okay. And this was another one I was like, oh, this shows some animal intelligence here. Yeah, let's try this one out. Okay, no audio. That's a happy deer. It's a bit grainy. I can't tell if it's 100% a deer or if there's like another, it's like another species of deer-like animal, but it looks like a deer to me. Yeah, it's a deer. It's a deer. Okay. I think it's a wild deer. My opinion is that that's a wild deer. I don't think it's going to be like a farm-raised deer or, I mean, some people keep deer as pets. Even if it is a pet deer, let's pretend it's not a wild deer. You know, it's a pet deer. This deer is celebrating after putting the soccer ball in the goal. Look, he's driving towards a goal, and that's a celebration. Like, that's a smart animal. This animal knows what's going on. Whether it did it through mimicking people, like say it was a wild animal and it like sits in the woods and just like stares at their kids play soccer like some creeper, just waiting for his chance to score a sweet goal. Or if it's a family-owned pet, which I wouldn't recommend a deer as a pet. That sounds like a lot of work. In either situation, this animal was not like trained to celebrate after putting the goal in. I really don't think so. I think this animal legit had fun putting the ball in the goal because it had seen other people do the same. It had watched other people put the ball in the goal, thought it was pretty cool. Was like, I'm going to do that one day, and got his chance. That shows foresight. Okay, so assuming that this animal isn't literally trained to do this as like a trick and it doesn't actually know what's going on, it's just like, if I go through these motions, they give me food. Let's assume it's the case. It's not. That's not the case, right? Because I feel like it's unlikely, and I feel like, and my feelings are strong. I feel like it's unlikely that this animal's been trained as a trick deer to do this. It had to watch somebody play soccer, see them get excited after putting the white circular object into the black netted object, and then you think this was trained? But do you think that the deer's reaction is genuine? Do you think the deer is like, I'm excited and happy to put the ball in? Because he celebrates at the end. I'm willing to give you that someone could have trained this deer to do this with food. So you're saying that the reaction's genuine. Even then, so let's take that away. Let's pretend that we know for a fact this deer was trained to do this one trick. So now he's in a situation where he has to do this trick and then he gets food at the end of it. Like, that's his training, most likely. Because I don't think they're like petting him. Yeah, that could be true. Yeah, it could be that he's there's somebody off the camera that is holding the treat, and if he gets it, then his reaction is genuine. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of less impressive if you think it's a trick. Because if it's not a trick, let's pretend it's not a trick. I think it's a little bit easier to talk about. If it's not a trick, this deer saw someone playing soccer, even if it's a family pet, thought it was cool that they were celebrating putting the soccer in the goal, and did it on his own. He like made a plan, put it in, and he was like, awesome, this was fun. But yeah, I agree. No, I don't think he watched other people and learned soccer. I don't think he knows the I don't think he knows the rules. I can imagine that an animal would mimic behavior though. Like I don't think that the deer understands what soccer is, but I do think that similarly intelligent animals can mimic a behavior thinking it's going to get a result. Because monkeys will do that too. I mean, obviously monkeys are more intelligent than a deer, but monkeys will watch people do things. Then they'll mimic them to see if they get the same result. So they're like they haven't been trained. There's no treat involved or anything like that. There's studies where they, the researchers just exhibit a behavior. They start doing something repetitively, and the monkeys start mimicking that behavior. So I think that's possible. I don't think the deer has learned soccer. I just really wanted this to be a deer that has been watching these kids play soccer and put the ball in and thought it was pretty cool. But I understand that that's unrealistic. And that in all likelihood, it's a trained deer. And he's running off to get his treat because that's what he's been trained to do. And it's that simple. It's much more realistic. There's no reason to believe that this deer, independent of everything, has figured out soccer by watching children play. But it would make a good story. Still, I think deers have to be at least somewhat intelligent to be told, get this white sphere into the black net, and do it without a whole lot of hand holding. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so that'll be it for today. That's gonna be our last clip for today. For future videos, so future of this channel is the following. So we're going to continue to do live streams. Not going to be every day, but eventually I'll start posting a schedule. Those live streams are going to be really just a function of being able to communicate, to have a community, to chat about things, for you to be able to ask a veterinarian a question. Again, there'll be some limitations there, but there's lots and lots of stuff that I can talk about. And so you can, when you're in lockdown, or when you, just for entertainment's sake, you want to ask a question about something about your animal, or something about, something you've heard about animals, and have somebody who, in some ways is an expert in that field, at least has some qualifications in that field. That's what I want this to be. I want this to be like a call-in show where you can ask me questions, send me super chats or whatever. I'll respond to those and give you my sort of best opinion on what I think is, what's going on or what you should do. And definitely I'll have some examples of what that can kind of look like. But that's what I want the live streams to be. I want that to be a call-in show. Yeah, I'll fill in the gaps with watching memes and doing like breed reviews and rating dogs, and I'll probably do things like looking through local pound pictures, so pictures of dogs that are at the shelter, so shelter animals, trying to promote them for being adopted. Definitely going to do some of that. Would like to also collaborate with some streamers. Any streamer that has some pets that is interested in having a veterinarian just chat with them about their pets, or if they want to just highlight their pets and talk about them, totally down with that. If you are interested in telling your pet's story. So if you have an amazing pet, they do something really interesting, or they don't do anything interesting. They've just been there for you. They've been an amazing pet to you. You want their story told. You want to have an audience to sort of know about your, soul dog or your other pet that's been a major influence in your life. That's something I want to do here on live stream or through other videos, is what I kind of want this thing to evolve into. But I will also be posting videos on YouTube that are informational stuff. So product reviews. I've had so many dogs that we've gone through so many different products of different beds and treats and grooming supplies and harnesses and training aids. We've done it all. So I'm going to do a lot of that, and hopefully that will be beneficial for some people so that they don't waste their money on products that don't work, and hopefully pick the product that's right for their animal, because not all products are universally useful. And then also do some debunking videos. So there's lots of garbage on the internet about animals and nutrition and all sorts of other stuff that needs to get debunked. So I'll be doing a lot of that too in terms of videos. So the two components here of the live stream and of the videos, and hopefully this will find an audience that wants to see that, because I don't see anyone else doing these kinds of things. And then the third part of that is that I do have a website up now that will be, technically the website's live, but the service is not live yet. So it's a website where you can do consultations with a veterinarian, specifically me, over the phone. So it's a telehealth program. All of that sort of information is explained there, but it allows me to sort of discuss more specific details about your pet. You can have my ear specifically for a period of time, and I hope to roll out that service in the next few weeks, so that both of these will be sort of going live and building up together. So I hope to be able to kind of service the community, the larger community, rather than just what I typically do, which is work at hospitals locally, veterinary hospitals locally. So I'm looking forward to all that. Hopefully you're going to look forward to that too. But I had some fun today talking through different memes, answering questions from one specific volunteer, and I've enjoyed it. Thanks for joining Vet Next Door. If you've got animal questions, we've got answers. Just think of me as your next door neighbor who happens to be a veterinarian. You want to toss me a question? I'd be happy to answer it. It's been real. Y'all have a good day.